What is going on, everybody? How are y'all doing? Crypto Clay here, tapping in with you like always, ready for some more content. But man, I gotta tell you something. They should have never let me have the internet. Woo, buddy. Anyways, so it's really cool when you see an article come out, right? And then you wait for the actual event to occur, and I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And I remember seeing this article: Ripple's Xspring invests in crypto ATM company CoinMe. And so what did that end up happening with that? You know, XRP Ecosystem Accelerator Initiative from Ripple announced that it has invested in CoinMe, a cryptocurrency ATM and blockchain financial services company. In 2014, CoinMe launched one of the first cryptocurrency ATMs in the United States and is now through its crypto-enabling technology. And in recent partnerships with Coinstar, it manages one of the largest cryptocurrency ATM networks. So, Sanit Wadhwa, Ripple head of strategic partnerships, said, "We're excited to partner with CoinMe. They have the right team, technology, and thoughtful approach as a licensed and regulated entity to be a pillar for mainstream cryptocurrency adoption," right? So we see Xspring investing in CoinMe so that you can buy crypto wherever a Coinstar kiosk is. You know, that place where you can dump your change in, and then you can either get like a little piece of paper that you go to the service desk and they give you cash, or now you could buy crypto with it. Or what I did, I saw the machine and I went up to the machine, right? And I was like, woohoo! It happened, right? Because this article is old. This is from 2019. I've been waiting for this to happen, right? Because I thought it was a cool, novel, intelligent way to get more crypto out to the masses, right? So as soon as I seen the machine, I seen Bitcoin symbol on there. I was like, oh, buddy, here it goes. And so I go up to the machine. I touch touchscreen because we're in the future now. I touch the screen, and what comes up? What am I able to buy in there? What cryptos? I saw, let's see, what did I see? I saw Chainlink, which I was fascinated that Chainlink's on there. I saw Stellar Lumens. I saw Bitcoin Ethereum. And interesting enough, I saw Polygon on there. And I thought that was really cool that Polygon was there. So what did I do out of all those? I bought Stellar Lumens. Look at that, guys. I don't know if you can see it. Woo, coin. So the Coinstar prints this thing out, right? And it basically is just a way for you to get your crypto out of CoinMe, right? And you got to sign up for CoinMe, of course. Let's see, what was the fee? The fee was 4%. You know, when all was said and done, I spent about $4 because so I had CoinMe send it to my public Coinbase address, not a Coinbase wallet, just the stupid app, right? Because I'll dip that app's public keys anywhere, right? I don't care if you want to send. I'll put it down below if you want it. If you want to send me crypto, you send it to my Coinbase one because I don't give a crap about that one. Okay, but in the end, it was about the same as buying directly from Coinbase, to be honest. In the end, with all the fees, you know. So really, not much difference for me personally. Personally, the lowest fees I have found is to buy XRP on Uphold, and then you send Uphold to somewhere like KuCoin, right? And then, or Mexi Global is really low trading fees. If you go there and you trade and then send that to whatever your wallet is, I've just found personally the fees are the least, and I'm sure the same can be attained if you use XLM. Now, I remembered this article, right? These headlines, that Ripple is the one who invested this. Ripple's Xspring invested in this, right? And so then why didn't I see XRP on the list? And I was like, what? Because that's what I wanted to buy. I wanted to buy XRP from the machine, right? Just to support it. I don't need any more XRP. Do I want more? Sure. You know, it's kind of an impulse buy. Anytime a new avenue comes into my little bubble for obtaining crypto, I try to support it. I put $22 in there. I'm not gonna lie, big baller, right? I just wanted to support it. I was like, oh, what cash? I don't carry cash. I'm into crypto. I got cards and stuff. Okay. I was like, what cash do I have on me? I was like, $21. All right, let's do it. What do I want? Let's get XLM. Just try it out, to try the process out. And so I did. It's cool to see things come into fruition. Right? Let's move ahead now. So a cool article that I saw, new October 25th, 2022, from Cointelegraph, the Bank of International Settlements, BIS, UN, Hong Kong Monetary Authority concluded tokenized green bonds trial. So they concluded their trial of green bonds system, tokenized, on Project Genesis, is what they're calling it. Project Genesis 2.0 continued, because there was Project Genesis 1.0, the joint effort of exploring blockchain opportunities for green investments. So they're basically creating a system to trade carbon bonds, and they need a smart contract platform for that as well, for all the various reasons that are associated with it. I won't go too into detail on that, but I wanted to dive into Project Genesis, right? Because I was super curious about the details about that. So if you go to the Bank of International Settlements.org or BIS.org, you can learn about Project Genesis, okay? Genesis 2.0, a smart contract-based carbon credits attached to green bonds, right? Project Genesis 2.0 is a collaboration between the BIS Innovation Hub's Hong Kong Center, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, and the UN Climate Change Global Innovation Hub, with two consortia. So I clicked on this, the Innovation Hub, PDF, full text, 87 pages. The BIS Innovation Hub. Now this just goes in and it lays out what they did, right? The forward, everything they did, who's behind it, why they were testing it, the vision of the project, blah blah blah. Go in there and check it out if you want the details. It's carbon credits. It's boring. I'm not gonna lie to you. Novel, and the technological novelty of it is entertaining, I find, but boring. So anyways, but what's not boring is the technical architecture, right? Because I want to know, are they using, which distributed ledger technologies are they using? What can I learn from this? Who are they tying this system in with? Is it anything we know? Is it any digital assets that I hold, right? Does it point towards anything like that? So right here, Project Genesis 2.0 leverages digital assets privacy-enabled blockchain Canton, which we're going to get into Canton, oh my god, and the Hyperledger Besu network. So the Hyperledger Besu network is owned by Goldman Sachs, and it's its own little network that's like a sandbox. Like you can use it as a testing ground. So if you wanted to go live on Hyperledger later down the road, you could run your tests and your simulations on the Hyperledger Besu network, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you heard that, but that's my dog. Goose, speak. Good girl. There we go. So that's interesting. So it uses Canton, and they tested it. So they tested it on Canton and the Hyperledger Besu network. So this provides secure synchronization between multiple nodes on a wide range of technologies and controls the management and progression of all workflows in the solution in conjunction with DAML smart contracts. So DAML is the programming language that they used. Canton stores every state transition in the ecosystem being modeled, delivering three key benefits. I won't go too far into it. Okay, so the Bank of International Settlements ran their experiment on Project Genesis. Project Genesis consists of Canton, which we're going to talk about, and the Hyperledger, right? A part of the Hyperledger, like a test network for the Hyperledger. So if Goldman Sachs is behind the Hyperledger Besu, and also this experiment of the Bank of International Settlements involves Goldman Sachs, I thought it was interesting to point out that, look, this headline here, Goldman Sachs FX executive Aditya Turakia leaves to go to Ripple. And we've heard that name before. I butchered it, but we heard of him before. Anyway, he left Goldman Sachs to go to Ripple. And when was this? In 2020. And we know of other connections to Goldman Sachs. There's some other people on the board who are from Goldman Sachs. There's lawyers. I don't recall the details. I just know Ripple has deep ties to Goldman Sachs, and I wanted to give you one here. And so we got people from Goldman Sachs also a part of this simulation that they ran for carbon trading credits and bonds. So we're going to get into DAML, which is the underlying language behind Canton. Okay, I'm going to read this. DAML contains a smart contract language and a tooling that defines the schematics and execution of transactions between distributed parties. Canton Distributed Ledger, a privacy-enabled distributed ledger that is enhanced when deployed with complementary blockchains. I'll read that again. A privacy-enabled distributed ledger that is enhanced when deployed with complementary blockchains and provides secure synchronization between multiple parties on a wide range of technologies. I wanted to point that out. This is on digitalasset.com. Digital Asset is the company behind Canton and DAML programming language. So this is the white paper. I went in and I found the white paper on digitalasset.com. Okay, we got the DAML, the Canton, a DAML-based ledger interoperability protocol. This is the white paper. If you guys love reading technical white papers, you really need to read the Canton white paper. Oh my God. It's frightening what Canton can do. Canton can destroy almost all of the cryptos out there. It's frightening, okay? But it's not going to. It's not going to, because it's still, from what I understand from the white paper, is it's still its isolated little network, right? So let's say you have a bunch of hospitals and you need them to use a distributed ledger, but you don't want to use a distributed ledger that has a global state, where its state of the blockchain exists all around the globe. You don't want that. That simply does not work for privacy. If you have an interconnected network of hospitals, insurance companies, you want all that information to stay within that. You don't want that to be accessible by anybody across the world, right? You want it to remain in its little network. So that's what Canton is going to do. But then Canton can work with other interoperable blockchains, and that's what it's intended to do. And it will actually strengthen its functionality, because those other distributed ledgers that have a global state can then connect to all these different pockets of Canton or what have you, right? And they can remain their own little private distributed ledgers, but then also use blockchain technology. So like, what if you were a business owner and you had a chain of restaurants and you wanted all that data to stay within your chain? You don't want it to be accessible through the global state. Even if every address on that blockchain is anonymous, it's still not good enough privacy wise, right? I, as a business owner, wouldn't want all my information out there, my transaction history, from where it's from, who it's from, all of that, right? So it makes sense to do it like this. I want to read this little caption down here. Canton is a DAML ledger interoperability protocol which abstracts over digital ledgers, allowing to integrate them into a global virtual composable smart contract platform. It demonstrates that a practical system can attain the properties that we deem critical for the overall adoption of smart contract platforms. This thing, Canton, can basically infinitely scale. It's freaking insane. Go in there, guys. Go in there, read the Canton white paper. It's amazing, right? So in this experiment that the BIS did for carbon bond tradings, they used Canton, right? Insane. But at first I was afraid of Canton. Now I see it as something that can actually enhance blockchain adoption globally, because it solves some of the issues needed for large businesses or even small businesses to adopt blockchain, right? It creates another secure barrier and allows mass scalability. So I wanted to look at Digital Asset, the company that's behind Canton, right? Digital Asset, our ecosystem, right? What jumps out to you? Huh? Any XRP guys been around a while? Huh? Accenture, first on the list, guys. Accenture, right? Boom. First on the list. We know their partnership with Accenture, right? Look, Ripple partner, Accenture, writes paper with Swift on CBDCs. I just wanted to show that one. Just providing articles that are backing up what I'm saying, guys. So we know Ripple is a partner with Accenture. You can check out some of these other ones because I have a feeling there's other connections to more than just Ripple. I'm still diving in. I possibly believe that H-Bar could be in here, Stellar Lumens, and Quant, Chainlink. I think all of them can be found within these partnerships, but I'm only going to point out what's obvious because I haven't actually done and dug in for those yet. But what I did find is Accenture being a partner with Digital Asset, and then Chainstack and Hyperledger Foundation. So let's look at Chainstack. Chainstack is a partner with Hyperledger. Makes sense. Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, Quorum, and R3. And we know about R3's partnerships, right? Here we go. R3 adds Ripple as its first crypto for its universal payment dApp. December 15th, 2018, Cointelegraph. Boom, talking about how R3 added Ripple. And Chainstack, partner with R3. Hyperledger. Digital Asset, which is behind Canton. Let's go to the Hyperledger Foundation. I was trying to learn more about the Hyperledger Besu, and Hyperledger Besu is an Ethereum client designed to be enterprise friendly for both public and private permission networked use cases. It can also be ran on test networks, which is what I'm talking about, which is what the Bank of International Settlements did. It can also be ran on test networks such as Rinkeby, Ropsten, and Goerli. I don't know what those are, and they didn't list Canton. Hyperledger Besu includes they didn't list the experiment with the BIS, but anyways, its comprehensive permissioning schemes are designed specifically for use in a consortium environment, which is exactly what's going on. So the Hyperledger partners, right? We got Hyperledger connected to that experiment alongside Canton with the Bank of International Settlements. Who's on the Hyperledger Foundation? We have Accenture, which we just saw on the Digital Asset company who's behind Canton. We saw the DTCC, which they have insane amount of power, guys. Insane amount of power. Look, CoinDesk showing evidence here. Ripple appoints DTCC's former CEO as an advisor on the Ripple board. So we got a connection to the DTCC. Accenture. JP Morgan Chase, interesting on the Hyperledger Foundation. Look, we got IBM. IBM connected to Stellar Lumens. Some people will say, is that still going on? Look, this article talks about, is IBM and XLM's partnership dead in the water? No, it's not. No, it's not. They're still going on. They're still using it. They launched a stable coin on the XLM blockchain. Look, IBM launches stablecoin backed by FDIC insured banks. This is in 2019. That's not old. That's not that old. 3 years. Just saying, IBM still connected to Hyperledger. Let's go through this list some more of who's in the Hyperledger network that stands out to us, right? We got Consensus, of course. Data Chain. We got Hedera. Boom. Hyperledger. Filecoin. R3. Quant. Ripple. Stellar. And Casper is in here too, but I think I passed it. I want to find it for you guys. Right there. Casper Lab. Beautiful. So those are the partners with Hyperledger that really stand out to me. But I just want to show that we got Hyperledger working alongside the experiment with BIS and Canton for trading carbon bonds. And it has connections, all this, to Ripple, probably as the settlement blockchain, I would guess. Quant interoperability among all the blockchains in that global state that we talked about, that Canton is designed to be partnered with. Juicy stuff here, guys. And as different organizations start to leverage the Ethereum virtual machine, there's some recent news about how Ripple and Persis developers push XRP toward Ethereum compatibility with first phase of an EVM sidechain. So they're trying to make a sidechain that can work with the Ethereum virtual machine and XRP, right? And that all ties in to being able to tie into the Hyperledger fabric, because Hyperledger is built on the EVM, right? And I think it's interesting that Casper is in there, because Casper is working on their own CVM, their own virtual machine, starting from scratch. And that'll be interesting to see how Hyperledger incorporates that over the years. I want to talk about Bitcoin NVT. Okay, I've talked about the Bitcoin NVT before. Here in the chart, we have yellow line is the price, yada yada yada. We're looking at the NVTS. The NVTS is a derivative of the NVT ratio by Dmitry Kalichkin, which provides more emphasis on predictive signaling ahead of price breaks. So here we are right now, doing what we do. If we are Bitcoin, one thing I wanted to point out is every time, not every time, but when we bottomed out in the NVTS, as we're going up, we do get chop in this middle line here, right? On the 0. See, we always have chop here. We got more chop here. More chop there. It becomes resistance, and then it becomes support, and then it becomes resistance, then it becomes support, right? We can see it all across the NVT. So as Bitcoin's price goes up and the NVT goes up, I believe once we hit this zone, we are going to hit resistance and we're going to get a rejection. I'm not a TA guy. I try to keep it simple. The other thing I'm looking at here to combine with that is the DXY. We've been going on a tear here for a long time, and the DXY is actually getting a little bit of a rejection there, and that's what's helping us give us that increase in price in Bitcoin, because there is a correlation. Every time the DXY goes down, Bitcoin goes up. Pretty close correlation. So I could see this going down, Bitcoin reaching that point in the NVT price, and then us getting some chop. But you know, we could bust through it and then get rejected and find that as support, because in the NVT chart you can see times where it just straight up ignored it, that zone, and it just blew right through it. That's what's beautiful about crypto, is you can try to use TA all you want. This isn't stocks, okay guys? This isn't stocks. This isn't part of a company. And you're trying to use TA that was developed over the course of 100 years or more on a totally different market. The TA that we use on stocks and valuing companies is not the same for crypto. Oh, we just try, guys. It's the best we got. Okay, I've been watching TA guys for years. I've seen them be wrong as many times as I've seen them be right. And you know, they got 200,000 followers or whatever. I'm gonna leave you with this, because you know how I am. We got to get a little weird at the end. So I thought this was interesting. I learned this from a comment in the Waters Above Crypto channel. Okay, I did not know this. So there's a statement out there, that is the statement that JP Morgan made, is millionaires don't use astrology. Millionaires don't use astrology. billionaires do. J.P. Morgan. It's repeated all the time, but I've never been able to find the source or where this quote originally appeared. The oldest mention of it on Google Books appears to be from Sidney Omar in 1989, over 75 years after Morgan was dead. Omar was a Leo known for his dramatic flair, and I suspect that the quote originated with him. So, it's more of a paraphrase, right? We can't find any direct evidence that J.P. Morgan said this. It's more of like a disciple conveying some teachings that he got from his master, right? Omar's source material may have been Evangeline Adams' in 1926 autobiography, The Bowl of Heaven, where she tells us that. I don't know about the late J.P. Morgan's belief in astrology because I taught it to him. I read his horoscope many times and furnished him during the last years of his life as a regular service, explaining the changing position of the planets and their probable effect on politics, business, and the stock market. No further proof of his interest in the science is required beyond the fact that he renewed this service from year to year. So he was always asking this lady for these readings, always asking for insights about what she thought about what was going on in the world based on astrology. The first time he came to my studio, his attitude was frankly one of curiosity, tinged with suspicion. I had a heavy Chinese screen in one corner of my studio. I remember how Mr. Morgan pulled this huge frame out of his chair and looked curiously behind the screen before beginning the interview. But that attitude melted away at the first meeting, and in his last years, he asked me from Egypt to join him and his party in the Orient, where he had gone on his famous yacht, the Corsair. His idea was to spend several months in a scientific investigation of the occult in those parts of the world where its practice reaches back into prehistoric time. I declined the invitation, not because I didn't appreciate the opportunity, but because I preferred to pursue my own investigations. Fascinating. So that quote, "Millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do," is not a direct verbal quote. It could be, but it's more of like what I said before, the disciple transferring his interpretation of what someone he looked up to taught him. And you can definitely see by this Evangeline Adams, her 1926 autobiography, that J.P. Morgan was into astrology. He even spent parts of his career investigating and trying to understand this. And I just wanted to point that out, that astrology, numerology, all of these things are just ways to try and understand what's happening around us. And they do have merit. Look into them yourself and see, and you will see. This is Crypto Clay here, tapping out. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you might be. Peace and love.